Right, this is Dan Meehan for Fight News Australia, and today we have the Juggernaut, Jacinta Austin, who takes on Nyrene Crowley at Eternal 68 on August 20th. Jacinta, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
No worries at all. Thanks for stopping by. Now, for those who don't know, for the first time, when I interview someone for the first time, I always like to ask them, can you tell us a little bit about your background and sort of how you found your way to martial arts?
Yeah, it's not too interesting of a story. I found my way into martial arts about 7 years ago. I was always sort of an athletic person, and just one of my friends was kickboxing at the time, and I was looking for a new endeavor to take on, and went along with him, and the rest is history.
Yeah, nice. Did you have sort of like an inspiration? Was there someone that you sort of looked up to that sort of drew you to the sport?
Not really. Like, even though I was going, like, more so to watch, like, my friend, I didn't really want to join in at that point. I didn't really like, it wasn't a goal to become a fighter. I just kind of went to a martial arts gym to use the cardio equipment and stuff like that. And it took me probably a good, I'd say, 6 weeks to even jump in one of the martial arts classes. So it didn't really jump at me, but sorry. It didn't jump at me at first, but after a bit of time, I sort of took an interest to it.
Right, and what was the turning point? Like, at what point did you decide that this was something that you wanted to pursue as a career?
Probably about, I'd say about once I got about 8 fights in, because first 8 fights, I was kind of like, as much as I enjoyed the training, I felt like I was pressured into the fighting, by the coaches there who wanted to see how I went and my training partners. So I loved the training. I didn't so much love the fighting. But once I got about 8 to 10 fights in, I started enjoying the whole process and decided that I wanted to make a career out of it.
Oh, there you are, and yeah, we saw you in action in K-1 about a month or so ago, where you emerged victorious. Now we know you have a Muay Thai background and even made your boxing debut this year, but are the striking arts something that you're looking to pursue alongside MMA at the moment, or is it just sort of a case of staying busy at this stage?
So I actually like said a while ago that I was done with the striking fights and MMA was all I was going to focus on. But back when I was pursuing kickboxing and Muay Thai, it was always my goal to fight on K-1. So when that opportunity came up, I just couldn't say no, because it's something that I worked so hard towards for all those years that I never got, and it came up. So I had to say yes. But yes, I'm fully focused on MMA. If there's like a bit of stalemate in fights and matches, I'll do boxing or do kickboxing. But MMA is what I want for my future.
Right. Well, yeah. What was it like fighting in K-1? Anyway, there's still a pretty big operation over there.
Yeah, it was awesome. Hey, like, the people over there are so lovely and so welcoming. Like, even though you're the foreigner, they're so supportive of you. The show was so glamorous and well organized, and it was a whole big event all week. So yeah, it was everything I thought it would be, and I got to fight on the undercard of one of the girls I trained with in Japan. So yeah, it was awesome. It was a bucket list thing for me, and I'm just really glad that I ticked it off.
Brilliant. And how do you reflect on the fight itself? Obviously, you came out victorious on the big stage there.
Yeah, I'm my own toughest critic. There's a lot of it that I wasn't happy with. I wasn't happy that I engaged like in the brawl situations that I knew she was going to present. Sometimes I wish I had stayed a little more composed. But in saying that, it was the first time that I had been able to drop someone with a punch. So all the things we'd worked on for that camp, like power punching and sitting through my shots, they came through on the night. So I was pretty happy with that.
Brilliant. And well, your next assignment, of course, as mentioned off the top, is on August 20th against Nyrene Crowley. Now, we know that she's quite experienced and she's fought a lot of her career in one championship. So, yeah, what are you expecting from her?
Um, I'm expecting she's going to be well-rounded everywhere. I've watched a bit of tape. I was actually supposed to fight her last year, so we were watching back then. But I think she's going to be a solid striker. I think she's going to be a decent grappler. But to be honest, I also think that I edge both of those both of those things over her. Sorry about that. I'm sitting on the
Absolutely.
ground, so he thinks that it's fair game.
Yeah, it's all happening there. You got quite a
Yeah,
few
no,
dogs.
sorry. Yeah. She looks solid. I think she's a great all-rounder. Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, so how do you feel you match up then? Like, what do you think your sort of big advantage is on the night?
I think that I'm definitely going to have a striking advantage, technically and with power. I've just come off the back of an 8-week striking camp, so I think my striking is solid. And then I've spent the past 8 weeks developing my grappling and my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu. So I think all round I'm going to have a slight edge everywhere. I think
Right,
I
and
also
tell
going to
us,
have a big strength advantage as well.
right, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, tell us about your training camp. Do you spend it all at Karaoke MMA, or do you sort of split your time with other gyms?
I train quite a few places. So Karaoke is like where the bulk of my sessions are done each week, and we bring different partners into there for me to work with. But I also travel to both coasts, so Newcastle way for my wrestling with the Wrestling Foundation, and Wollongong way for boxing with Grand Chai Performance, and then I travel into the city for Legacy Jiu-Jitsu as well. So a little bit everywhere, but for the bulk of it, Karaoke is where I train.
Absolutely, there's a fair bit of you're all over the place there. But tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about the gym itself at Karaoke. They're probably one of the lesser known gyms in the region, or well, for me anyway. But so tell us a little bit about the fight team and what the mats are like down there.
Yeah, they are. It's Hornsby's kind of like a hidden away little area that not many people go to. But the team I have there is perfect. I have there are active fighters. There's no active MMA fighters. But why I find that beneficial for me is I have so many specific specialists in their own discipline that I get to work with. So there's so many high level boxers. There's so many amazing jiu-jitsu athletes. There's so many good wrestlers, and I get to sort of take the best out of everything and then combine it for MMA. And MMA, I'll normally bring like another partner in, but I find it really beneficial doing jiu-jitsu with jiu-jitsu practitioners and doing boxing with boxing specialists, and I feel like it just helps me cover my bases a bit more.
Yep, and is strawweight home for you now? I was just sort of looking down your record. I can see you've been up to flyweight before.
Yeah, strawweight's that's where I want to stay. I went up to flyweight when I couldn't get any fights, but it's not ideal for me. I came in quite undersized as well, so strawweight's where I want to sit.
Right, and on a big card like Eternal 20, do you sort of keep an eye on the rest of the card, or do you sort of you kind of in your own bubble on the night?
Um, I only sort of I do check out the rest of the card, of course, and there's a lot of Eternal athletes I follow. None of my favorites are going to be on the same card, but a lot of the fighters I like are going to be on the next one, the anniversary one,
Yep.
in September.
Yeah, absolutely. Who are some of your favourites, just for the record?
Well, obviously I love Jack Jenkins. Everyone loves Jack Jenkins. I love to watch him. His striking's insane. I love watching Justin. Justin just had a big win a couple of weeks ago. That was amazing. I honestly didn't speak to many people that said the fight would go that way. So I love seeing the underdog take over. So that was an awesome fight to watch. Caleb Crazy Horse just won the title. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch for just how crazy he is. They're probably like my favorites that I make sure I consistently watch.
Yeah, right. I might have to cut that bit about Justin out, otherwise his head won't fit in the screen next time we record a podcast. But
Well,
for
credit when
Eternal,
credit's due, right?
yeah, absolutely, it was a
Great
huge
performance.
win.
Yeah. Over
But
that
for
kind of opponent as well, like it's pretty
definitely.
cool what he did.
It really was, yeah. It was, I don't think many people predicted it outside of the man himself. So yeah, well done to him, of course. But yeah, for Eternal 68, can you give us some of your predictions? Like the main event's obviously number one contender fight for the bantamweight title between Rod Costa and Michael Manu. So who have you got? Who have you got for that one?
I'd go Rod Costa, but to be honest, I don't know too much about the guy he's fighting. So.
Yeah, it sort of came out of nowhere for me as well. But obviously the co-main event as well is a fantastic matchup. Dom Marfan versus Quillan Salkill. Do you have a read on that one?
I actually haven't. No. I've been so focused on my own stuff that I'm just tunnel visioned.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, but just back to you, of course. You've had quite a busy 12 to 18 months. So, assuming, of course, that you're successful on August 20th, what's the plan for the rest of the year? Are you going to keep the Juggernaut rolling, I guess, or have a bit of a rest?
Well, I'm going overseas for a little bit, straight from the fight. I'm just flying straight from Perth to London. So I'm going to take a few weeks off there because I've just been in fight camp all year. But I would like to get one more in before the end of the year, and I do have one left on my contract with Eternal, so I'd like to get that done by the end of the year.
Beautiful. Well, beyond that, you're obviously relatively young in your professional career at 3-0, but what's the ultimate goal? What do you want to get to?
Same place everyone wants to get to. But after I finish off my contract, I want to have a good hard fight overseas. So whether that is with UAE, which is what I'm looking at the moment, I just want to make sure that I've covered all bases and I've been tested before I actually go to the big show. So that's
fair enough too. Absolutely. And in the shorter term, when you close your eyes and visualize the fight against Nyrene Crowley, how do you see it going down?
Well, I don't want to give away too much. I have my vision on how it's going to end. But I think that she's definitely going to come in with the approach about striking me. We all know that City Kickboxing have great striking. So I think that's going to be her approach. I'm not going to entirely tell you my approach, but I think whether I do strike or grapple, that I have the edge over her.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, do you have any sponsors or anyone you'd like to shout out? I'll hand the reins over to you.
Mostly just, I have quite a few sponsors, but I mostly just give a shout out to the gyms that I train at because, like you said, they're all kind of little gyms at the moment, and I think they don't get enough credit for the work they do. So, Cariotti MMA, the Wrestling Foundation, Legacy Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Ethos Performance for strength and conditioning.
Perfect. Well, Jacinta, thank you so much for stopping by, and all the best on August 20th.
No worries. Thanks so much for having me.